stop everything you're doing right now. Before this video gets deleted from YouTube, listen carefully. What if I told you that everything you've ever known about death is a lie? Imagine an ancient, hidden manuscript that claims to map out exactly what happens the moment you take your last breath. A text so profound, it doesn't just talk about the afterlife, it guides you through it, step by step. But here's the twist. Miss a single moment in this journey, and you risk eternal entrapment. In an age of science and technology, one question still haunts us unanswered, untamed. What happens after we die? For thousands of years, humanity has stood at the edge of the unknown, staring into the void not as a threat, but as a mystery. And deep in the mountains of Tibet, a strange manuscript emerged, one that doesn't tell you how to die, but how to continue after death. This book doesn't offer false comfort. It doesn't beg you to believe. It throws you into the face of something undeniable. Consciousness doesn't end. It travels. Monks, mystics, even neuroscientists have stood in awe of this book, not because it promises paradise, not because it warns of hell, but because it presents something entirely different. That death is not the end. It's the beginning of a journey through realms unseen, through dimensions of the self. In Tibetan teachings, there is something called the Bardo. It's a state that exists between life and death. But what does that really mean? Bardo translates to a transition, a space in between. And it doesn't only happen after death. It happens every time your life cracks open and reforms: a divorce, an illness, a deep awakening, a moment of collapse, a rebirth. Each is a Bardo. But after death, 3 great Bardos appear, and each one is a test. We begin with the Bardo of dissolution, the moment of death itself, not just a biological event, but the untethering of consciousness from the body. In this moment, a narrow, terrifying window opens. A brilliant light floods your awareness, but this light is not external. It is you, the pure core of your consciousness. If you are ready, you'll recognize it. You'll merge with it. You'll dissolve back into your essence. But if you're not, you'll run, and the labyrinth begins. Once the pure light fades, a stranger phase begins. The realm of visions. You're no longer in heaven. You're not in hell either. You're inside your own awareness, but in a way you've never seen it before. The stage opens. Light, darkness. It's like stepping into a divine movie theater, radiant faces, celestial beings, waves of peace. Then suddenly everything shifts. Monsters emerge, flames flicker, symbols swirl, and the confrontation begins. But none of these are real. They're mirrors. Every being you see in this realm, whether angelic or terrifying, is a reflection of you. Do you see the glowing figure? That's you when you forgave, when you loved, when you awakened. Do you see the raging beast? That's you when you denied, when you hated, when you feared. Now you're given a choice. Accept them as parts of yourself and be free, or reject them and get lost in them. This is the test of self-awareness. No one sees you here but you. And the real question becomes, will you recognize the light within your darkness, or will you believe the light is your enemy? If you failed to awaken in the first Bardo, and if you couldn't face your own mind in the second, you're pulled into the final stage, the Bardo of rebirth. And here, everything inside you begins shaping what comes next. Your thoughts, your desires, your memories, your emotional wounds. All of it becomes gravitational energy, pulling you toward a new form of existence. This isn't some fairy tale reincarnation, right? It's an internal law of energy determining who you become and where you go. You're now a blank canvas, but every stroke is painted by what you carried with you. Each moment of kindness, each act of hatred, each insight, each ignorance, it's all written and it will sketch the shape of your next life. The most haunting truth in this book isn't that it speaks of death. It's that it whispers something far deeper. You die and are reborn every single day. Every time you shift a belief, a piece of you dies and something new is born. Every moment of inner clarity is a glimpse into the second Bardo. Every life-altering decision is you stepping into the third. And that means something powerful. Death isn't something waiting at the end of your life. Death happens in every decision you make. Don't wait until your body dies to learn how to face death. Every moment you're alive, a Bardo window is open. The real question isn't, what will happen to me after I die? The question is, how can I live now in a way that makes death no longer something to fear? This is where meditation, shadow work, and non-attachment come in not as spiritual hobbies, but as tools for staying conscious when your inner world collapses. Because how you live is exactly how you'll die. Now picture this. You're dying, but you don't feel like you're fading. You feel like you're returning. They say, those who recognize the light and merge with it never return. And those who flee are born again into a body, into a life, into a world. They don't remember. But now you know. Every conscious moment you live prepares you for that transition. Every honest breath, every moment of stillness, every time you face yourself is a training for departure. And that departure may not be the end. It might just be your first true liberation. What if death isn't the end, but the beginning of your real awareness? Have you ever felt a Bardo moment suspended between two realities? Share it in the comments below. Let's go deeper. Let's awaken.